long time ago. I'd say about 79 years ago, my mother took me out in a stroller or a baby carriage. And she had a goal. It was on an avenue, 13th Avenue. And she was going to the bank, not that I thought about it at that time, but in reflection. And she stopped in front of the bank, near the curb, right in front of the bank. And I sat up in the stroller, and I was looking at the bank building. And it had two semi-pillars on either side of the doorway, bank building style. But the whole bank building, from the top left-hand corner to the lower right-hand corner, was diagonally cut in half, sun on the top, shadow on the bottom, directly straight across, sharply defined. And I raised, there's a little hood on the carriage. You know, you have the big carriage, big hood, and then you've got a little piece that you can put up or down. It was down. I wanted it up. I wanted to see the building. Cut like that in half, light and dark. My mother put the hood down to keep the sun from my eyes. I put it up so that the sun would go in my eyes. She put it down, I put it up, and she put it down, and I remember I put it up again, and I guess she finally got the idea, and she left it up. And I stared at that, and that was the beginning of my conscious awareness of the light and the dark in my life. And I'm not talking about living in the dark or depression or anything like that. That didn't exist. It's just that we had the day and the night, the light and the shadow, and that is what my life tries to picture, and if I can use the word illuminate, the idea, the thought, the feeling of the two the separation of the two. And of course, as time went by, I began to realize the shading in between the light and the dark. But at that moment, it was a clear-cut issue, and I was utterly fascinated. And for the next, what was it, say 79 years, that is the main influence of everything I do. Visual, composing the music, or the poem. The shadings. The shadings that don't define, but toy with the dark and the light. And they play in that in-between world. And my mind plays in that in-between place. Never goes into the total brightness, although it can, or into the total darkness. It's always the shadings of light and dark. And at some point, like, the effect of light can be such, as I said in the poem, stare into the sun. Stare into the sun. And when you stare into the sun, your eyes may diminish in outward power, but they increase in inward power. By going into the light, you come into the dark, and you envision or see the vision within that dark blackness almost. There's imagining of the light and the shades again. Not specific, but again, the tantalizing playfulness of shadows and light. The subtlety of it, which is not playfulness, but a subtle awareness of a total mind that has its own way of creating theatrics. Theatrics of shadow, light, a bright glare, total blackness, and that in itself is the most exciting instance of revelations. It reveals the total reasoning, or the total reason for me to stare into the sun, stare into the moon, stare. Open-eyed, closed eyes, just to stare straight away, and in that are the enormous dreams that create the most sincere reality based in the structure of living my life according to the rules of the light and the dark. I think that should answer the question, I hope.
Thank you.
But there's always more. There's always, it's an endless pursuit. It's something that can't really end, ever. Had no beginning, no end.